Capitol Building. Contents: AV2 Book Code. 2. The Capitol Building. 4. A symbol of government. 6. The Capitol Building's home. 8. Planning the Capitol. 10. Starting to build. 12. Fire damage. 14. Repairing the Capitol. 16. A new dome. 18. The Capitol Building timeline. 20. Capitol Building quiz. 22. Keywords index. 23. The Capitol Building. The United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. serves as a workplace for the U.S. Congress. The building is laid out with chambers for the Senate, one on one side of the building, the chambers for the House of Representatives on the other. A large domed rotunda forms the center of the building. At 288 feet 88 meters tall, the Capitol is the second tallest structure in the city, before the 555-foot, 169-meter Washington Monument. Washington, D.C. Landmark Height Comparison. The White House, 70 feet 21 meters. Jefferson Memorial, 129 feet 39 meters. Capitol Building, 288 feet 88 meters. Washington Monument, 555 feet 169 meters. A symbol of government. Situated on top of Capitol Hill, the Capitol Building overlooks the National Mall and the Lincoln Memorial. This area has been the site of many significant speeches, rallies, and protests. This has helped establish the Capitol as a symbol of the U.S. government, the American people, and the principles of representative democracy. The Capitol Building's home. Before 1790, Congress had met in 8 different cities. Over time, the government realized that it needed to have a national capital. George Washington chose the site for the new capital city in 1791. French-American architect Pierre Charles L'Enfant created a plan for the city, outlining where roads and structures including the Capitol would be located. The 8 cities where Congress met before 1790 were Philadelphia, Lancaster, and York, PA, Baltimore and Annapolis, MD, Princeton, and Trenton, New Jersey, and New York, NY. Planning the Capitol. Congress offered $500 and a plot of land in the city for the person who submitted the winning design for the Capitol. 17 people entered the contest, but none were chosen. Then a few months after the contest ended without a winner, Dr. William Thornton entered his winning concept. Thomas Jefferson said Thornton's plan was simple, noble, beautiful, excitedly distributed, and moderate in size. Capitol Building by the numbers. External diameter of the Capitol Dome, 135 feet 41 meters. Length north to south, 751 feet 229 meters. Maximum width, 355 feet 107 meters. Windows in the Capitol Dome, 108. Starting to build. William Thornton's design went through several changes before construction began. Other architects including Stephen Hallett and James Holbein were brought in to rework the design and supervise the building's construction. Construction began in 1793 and the north wing was completed in 1800. Congress, the Library of Congress, the Supreme Court, and lower district courts of D.C. began working in the building later that year. Dr. William Thornton served as a commissioner of the city of Washington from 1794 to 1802. Fire damage. By 1811, the south wing had been completed, and the north wing had been renovated to make better use of an interior space. However, the two wings were only connected by a wooden passageway. Plans to continue renovating the building were put on hold when the war in 1812 began. In August 1814, the British set fire to the capital. The War of 1812 started in June 1812 and ended in February 1815. Repairing the capital. Repairs on the capital began in 1815. Changes were also made into interior, such as enlarging the Senate chamber. The House of Representatives, the Senate, and the Supreme Court were able to resume working in the north and south wings by 1818. The center section with its copper-covered wooden dome was finished in 1826, and the surrounding grounds were completed in 1829. The new dome. In the 1850s, expansions to the wings more than doubled the length of the Capitol. Work on a new cast iron dome began in 1856, but was halted in 1861 due to the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln declared that work on the Capitol should be finished because it was a symbol of national unity. Work continued in 1862 and finished in 1868. All about the Statue of Freedom. The Statue of Freedom sits at the top of the Capitol dome. It was designed by sculptor Thomas Crawford. The statue was placed in its current location in 1863. Height 19.5 feet 6 meters. Weight 15,000 pounds 686,800 kilograms. Height of pedestal 18.5 feet 5.6 meters. Material bronze. The Capitol building timeline. 1793. Construction begins. On September 18th, President George Washington lays the cornerstone of the Capitol building. 1814. Fire damage. British soldiers set fire to the Capitol building. The two wings of the building are severely damaged. 1868. Completion of the new dome. The new dome of the Capitol building is completed. More than 8.9 million pounds, 4 million kilograms of iron are used in the construction. 1958-1962. Subway terminal. Work to extend in east front of the Capitol building begins. A subway terminal is added underneath the Senate building. 1983-1987. Renovations. The west front of the Capitol building is restored because of structural problems. More than 1,000 stainless steel tie rods are used to straighten the building. 1968. Visitor Center. The new Capitol Visitor Center is built. The center is a place for people to visit and learn more about the Capitol and the people who work there. 2021. Damages to the Capitol. On January 6th, a group of people in a gully entered the U.S. Capitol, causing some damages to the building. Capitol Building Quiz. Who laid the cornerstone of the Capitol building? George Washington. How many people entered the contest to design the Capitol building? 17. How tall is the Washington Monument? 555 feet, 169 meters. When did the War of 1812 end? February 1815. Where did Congress meet before 1790? Philadelphia, Lancaster, and York, PA. Baltimore and Annapolis, Minnesota. Why did work on the new Capitol building dome stop in 1861? Because of the Civil War. 7. What is the Capitol Visitor Center? A piece for people to visit and learn more about the Capitol and the people who work there. When did construction on the Capitol building begin? 1793. Keywords: Congress, the lawmaking branch of the U.S. government. Government, system by which a country or community is ruled. House of Representatives, one of the two branches of the U.S. Congress composed of 435 members called Representatives. Representatives. Pedestal, the base that supports the statue of a column. Representative democracy, a ruling system in which the people of a country choose officials who make decisions on their behalf. Rotunda, a round building or room. Sculpture, an artist who creates three-dimensional works of art such as statues. Senate, one of the two branches of the U.S. Congress composed of 100 members called senators. Supreme Court, the most important court of law in the United States. Tie rods, bars usually made of strong metal used to make a building stronger. Index, Capitol Visitor Center, 21, 22. Congress, 4, 8, 12, 22. Dome, 4, 11, 17, 18, 20, 22. Government, 7, 8. House of Representatives, 4, 16. L'Enfant Prairie Charles Library of Congress, 12. National Mall, 6. Senate, 4, 16, 20. Statue of Freedom, 18. Supreme Court, 12, 16. Thornton William, 11, 12. War of 1812, 14, 22. Washington George, 8, 20, 21. 22. Washington Monument, 4, 5, 22.